Put the money in the bag!
So a long time ago, there was a game company called Grin that was founded by 3 Swedish dudes. They made such games like Bionic Commando and Wanted Weapons of Fate, and... After these games kind of failed, Grin went bankrupt and had to start anew. Forming Overkill Software, they got together and discussed their comeback. They said, "Hey, I like Hit the movie. Let's make Hit the video game." So then they said fuck it and made Heat the video game, except it wasn't because Hollywood owns Heat. So instead they called it Payday the Heist. Hey, it was pretty fun good. Thanks to a combination of fun and original first-person shooter action, plus Let's Players bloating their channels with them failing through and or screaming at this game, Payday the Heist became a commercial success. So after releasing a DLC and collaborating with Valve, they decided, hey, Heat was pretty good, let's make a sequel to Heat. And then they made a sequel to Heat. So let's talk some good shit with Payday 2. Firstly, they overhauled how the upgrade system works. In Payday 1, you had trees that kind of stacked, and it was automatic, and you just kind of went along with it. Whatever, fuck it. In Payday 2 nowadays, you've got trees that have trees in their trees, so you can tree. Essentially, you get to select what you want based off of a point system, which leads to different and complex builds.
Not like there's a meta or anything. No, sorry. Fucking.
On top of which, there's a shit ton more weapons in this one than there were in Payday 1, all of which are customizable to improve damage and accuracy and other shit. They even added in melee weapons, which, even though they're fucking worthless, you know, it's the thought that counts. Different kind of grenades and throwables too, cause, you know, gotta capture that Michael Bay appeal somehow. You could also customize masks, cause you need to stand out as the special snowflake that you are. You bitch. This being a step up from the small selection of basic masks that you couldn't customize in Payday 1.
Make some masterpieces like this. Or this. Or this. I am a goddamn artist.
They eventually added new characters too, starting with John Wick.
Gotta get that movie tie-in money.
With each new character came a new feature called a perk deck, which gave different abilities for different playstyles. And thankfully, the perk decks weren't limited to the characters you picked, so you could play as Dallas, but use the perk deck that came with Clover, and so on and so forth. Speaking of characters, a lot would say that 21 is too goddamn many for a heist crew. And they're right. At times, it gets ridiculous and kind of feels like some Legion of Doom type shit. But whatever, variety's the spice of life, and the new characters aren't bad by any means. They even got Ron Perlman on board, thanks to money! Naturally, this being a sequel, there are more heists, although it was a little different with how it worked this time. Instead of big-time action movie-esque heists, you had different ones that ranged from simple, smaller, single-day missions to longer, complex 3-day missions. Hilariously, they had an indicator for 7-day missions, which never has and never will get used. I guess it's for aesthetics or some shit. Fuck it, who cares, it's fine. Overall, the game felt more RPG-ish. It had a new experience point system, so you could get them 6 skill point gains. Before this, your money was your experience. Now they're separate, and you buy shit with money to go steal more money to go spend more money. Circle of life. It was a nice change, and they continually added more heists, more weapons, a lot of different things. Even VR, which is in beta, but has received generally positive feedback. Overkill listened to fans on shit that needed to get fixed or changed, and it was a feel-good experience. It was great. It was wonderful. You know, till they fucked up.
Oh, now you fucked up!
Not everything was peaches and cream pies at first, though. The game was released as a buggy mess that ran on the diesel engine, just like Payday 1. Yeah. Granted, it's not bad for the purpose of the game itself, but it's a limiting engine, and it hinders a lot of creative design that they could have put into the game. Thank God the sequel's gonna run on Valhalla. Whatever the fuck that is. Anyway, like every other self-respecting video game company based in Sweden, Overkill fucked up a few times. The game was directed by David Goldfarb until that kooky fuck left to go start some other game studio elsewhere. He got fed up with one of the problems that the game had faced. 505. These dickheads Hitlered their ideas into the game, which inevitably led to Goldfarb saying, fuck this publisher, they can eat a bag of dicks. He fucked along a little after the Big Bank DLC was released, and it shows that he made it, cause it's one of my favorite heists to play. You know, that's not to say that during Goldfarb's time there weren't problems. He himself kinda oversaw that stealth got fucked to tears at one point. With the Death Wish update, a lot of stealth mechanics were reworked and made the game much more difficult in a more frustrating and broken way than a challengingly fun way. They fixed it since then, but kind of an oversight. Made framing frames super difficult as a result. I still have nightmares. On top of that, some developers were vocal about their stubbornness and inability to listen to fan complaints. How do me community? Speaking of community, you fuckers are the reason a lot of shit happened in this game. Good and bad. A lot of content is locked behind joining the community group on Steam, which is not a bad thing because it's free, but why do that? Bloating your numbers with people who just want free shit? Nobody does jack shit there anyway. Chat rooms are dead and nobody really finds groups via Steam. They use Reddit like any other degenerate. Anyway, thanks to the community, they implemented a lot of silly shit. You know, at the start, it was kind of a serious, oh shit, let's fucking go kind of game. And it looked like it was gonna keep the tone that the first one had. Serious overall with a bit of over-the-top action, but, you know, down to earth and grounded. Over time, though, it became... God damn it! So let's move on to some real shit. In an effort to make the community happy, they held a promotional event that would add new shit to the game. It was called Crimefest. Overkill got the fans' dicks wet with the prospect of bringing Pete Gold back to voice Hoxton again. They couldn't get him before because scheduling or some shit, so they had to replace him initially. All you had to do was join the community Steam group. Holy fucking shit! Once they got 1.5 million people to join, they put out all the updates and new content over the course of a week. This is about the time they added in John Wick, too, because... it was pretty good. And I'm not saying that this is the bad part. This is just leading into the bad part. Although they did promise a new enemy that didn't get added for about another year almost. But it's fine, because they still put it out, I guess. Anyway, then the hype train came in 2015, which was overall kinda shady. You had to buy shit to get these fuel units for the hype train. This unlocked more content for the community, and eventually even a fucking convention. Why? Who the fuck knows? Anyway, you had several options to buy from, including pre-ordering Hotline Miami 2, cause fuck it, gotta pad them numbers somehow. Seriously, there's probably people who don't give half a shit about Payday and they helped because they just bought Hotline Miami 2. There was also the Overkill packs. The $5 one got you a few weapons that are kinda okay, but the $20 one, which was limited, got you a mysterious prize. Ooh, too spooky. This gave you the most fuel units and was pretty much just a way to support Overkill. The prizes didn't come out until much later, but I'll get to that in a minute. Now, because of the success of the first Crimefest and the hype train, of course they'd hold a second one. Now, this is where the shit hits the fan. It was marketed like this big mystery thing where the community had to do a lot of in-game tasks to unlock hints and move up this board game looking shit. Some tasks weren't thought out well enough though, like following the voice actors on Twitter. This led to really dedicated people buying bots to just bloat those numbers and progress in the ARG. So Overkill unfucked it by changing the tasks to more in-game options. With the completion of these tasks, you were shown some kind of item that hinted towards the reward that you would get. Some of them were obvious, like the vintage memes would bring back the meme masks from Payday 1.
For fuck's sake!
Others were a complete mystery, and it really got the community speculating and hyped up. And then they revealed the first day. Fucking CSGO boxes. After telling the community from the start that there wouldn't be microtransactions, there were microtransactions. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. This led to the player base throwing a fit, of course. Bad reviews began to flood the Steam page and just lower the overall rating of the game. Really says something when the top 6 posts of your game's subreddit condemn the game. There were fucking news articles on how ridiculous this fiasco was. Each day just got worse and worse, with only a couple of saving graces like the classic heists coming back. But overall, it was just a shit show. A shit show where Overkill lied to their fans and pretty much alienated them. I don't know about anyone else, but it really activates my almonds when 14 out of 25 hints give out nothing but masks. More than half the promised content was cosmetic. Actually, fuck, the main idea of the entire Crimefest was cosmetic. Let's go back to the hype train. Remember that completely Overkill pack? Fucking weapon skins. More goddamn weapon skins and masks that are just overall worthless because they don't affect gameplay in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. You don't do this shit. What the fuck?
Want +3 accuracy? Buy a skin, asshole!
No, this is not how it fucking works.
Stop it, for the love of God.
And the whole thing just ended on one of the worst fucking notes I've ever seen. Who gives a shit about jumping animations? Yet they made a whole big deal out of it. All that build-up for nothing. A lot of shit that was added could have just been fixed with mods anyway. And mods were a prominent selling point of the game, too. They actually tried making it easier for people to mod the game with one of the updates. Oh, and the community's a creative bunch, too. I'd say that you can't even play the game unmodded. There's just too much good shit that you can add. Outfits, audio reworks, new songs, new features even. But then here they come, fucking that up by just adding features that are found in mods you could have just gone and downloaded before. I guess it makes it better for the vanilla fucks out there. Kinda gives mod creators the shaft for all their hard work, though. Not like they receive any real recognition for their— Oh, well, fuck all that then. Anyway, point is, Overkill's never really been able to completely please nor displease their fan base. If it's not one thing to bring them down, it's another to get their hopes back up again. Fuck, I actually forgot about this when I was writing the script. Goddamn console releases. Whatever happened to that? Believe it or not, they released this game on Xbox 360 and PS3 too. Fuck, they probably even knew it wouldn't be able to support the vast amount of updates and shit that they'd need to push out. This killed 2 separate releases of the game, is killing 2 current releases of the game, and there's a Switch version coming out, which is probably going to be dead on arrival. Just like my little brother. I owned a copy of this, and now it's time to put it to its final rest. Goodbye, my friend. I'll light a candle for you next time I light a candle. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. So, how's the game looking nowadays? Well, despite most of my negative rambling, actually pretty fucking good. Overkill took a look at what their publisher was doing and said, "Go fuck yourself, you big bitch." They got the rights back at about update 100, and ever since then, they've been fixing shit. For example, they completely removed the microtransactions, but they kept the saves. Whew, thank Jesus. On top of that, they've been listening hardcore to what the community wants and actually needs. For their cosmetic shit like the completely Overkill pack, they even changed a bit of that up. They promised a bunch of mega masks and actually showed the designs for each individual one. And I'm pretty sure that the community actually hated one of the initial designs, so they changed it out for something better. And all the mega masks are actually pretty cool, even if one of them is just some fucking anime nerd shit. They've also added legitimately needed features that improve gameplay and make the game more fun. Like, remember the flashbang fiasco? They said fuck that, gay earth, and made them physical, audible objects that were easier to identify and avoid. If you got hit, it was by your own fault and not by bullshit like it was before. They also added in the crime spree game mode, which was a very smart choice and gave players an extra mode to tinker with and focus on. Overkill's actually taken to supporting the community a lot more too. Remember how I showed how they hired the goon mod guy? Back when they were hyping up Crimefest 2017, they had AngusMcLeod draw up a bit of art for them. AngusMcLeod was an artist who drew fan art of caricatures of each heister as they came out. He posts a lot on Reddit and is very well known within the community. What's more is that's just one example. They've hired him before and they're probably gonna hire him again. He's a pretty cool dude. Go check his stuff out here. Anyway, point is, Overkill's fucked up a lot, but they've been able to come back from even their lowest point. They even solved the problem with DLC and they packaged it all into one Ultimate Edition. So now instead of buying every separate expansion for like $5 each and racking up to about $100, now you spend $45 in one convenient little package. And they promised from then on, every piece of content they release is going to be completely free. Every heist, every character, every weapon, so forth. Except for the H3H3 pack. But that goes directly to them, and they deserve it, so I have no qualms with that. It shows a lot about the developers when they can unfuck themselves like this. Payday 3's around the corner, and here's hoping the process for that's gonna go smoother than this. And if you're like me and you enjoyed the game both pre- and post-Goldfar, well, he's working on some shit at the Outsiders, and that'll probably be gritty and fun. There's also 10 Chambers, which has one of the OG Swedish dudes who made Grin. Ulf Andersson, who voiced Wolf. I wonder what they're working on right now.
Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? Go! Get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot! Fuck, we're all dead! Get the fuck out!
Oh, cool. All in all, the outlook of Payday isn't as bleak as it once was. People need to understand that even though a developer has had previous shitty practices, that they can come back from it. A past evil doesn't guarantee a future sin. Granted, we should still be on the lookout for anything that looks remotely shady, but as far as it stands now, everything looks pretty good. Overkill comes a long way, and it's exciting to see where those crazy Swedes go next. Just don't release it on an obsolete console next time, god damn it. Fuck's sake.